We have got a series, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a playoff series for the Bulls. Okay, yes, I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves because this is still the Milwaukee Bucks we're talking about. This is the defending champs. This is the team that has the best player in basketball. But this was such a massive win for the Bulls. And honestly, it makes the loss in Game 1 that much more brutal because going back home to Chicago up 2-0, that would be something. But look, we'll take the split. Series is even and we're heading back to the United Center, baby. So let's talk about it. Now, I don't want anyone to misconstrue by me putting out this video. This means that I think the Bulls are winning the series. The series is far from over. This was another uncharacteristic game for the Bucks in which they made some pretty careless mistakes and missed a lot of shots. Middleton was off, and of course he missed the end of the fourth quarter. Of course, Bobby Portis didn't play in the second half. But look, the Bulls were phenomenal tonight on both ends of the floor. Like, this isn't going to be one of those, oh, well, the Bulls just got lucky. No, they played their butts off. They hustled. They fought for the 50-50 balls. The ball movement was significantly better. The play calls were much better. Guys actually were hitting their shots, which of course is key. And the defensive intensity for which they played against the likes of Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday was incredible. Like, even the guys who aren't known for their defensive effort, like DeMar, like Zach, like Vucevic, they actually played hard and stayed focused on that end of the floor. It was funny that the Bulls started out the game on a 9-0 run, just like the Bucks did in Game 1. And of course, the Bucks quickly bounced back and brought it to a tie. But really, the second quarter and beyond, the Bulls led the whole way and more or less controlled this game. You did have those scary moments where the Bulls were up by as many as 18 at one point, and the Bucks quickly cut that lead to 3 going into the fourth quarter. And just when you thought, well, this is the Bulls team that we know, they get their heads down when momentum shifts, especially on the road. And the Bulls, they come out of the fourth quarter with a 9-0 run and went back up by 16, leading 96-80. Like, what? How does that even happen after the whole regular season of getting swept by the best teams in the league, including the Bucks, to come out and play with the confidence and focus to win on the biggest stage and on the road, and now reclaiming home court advantage? Now, I want to start with DeMar DeRozan, of course, because he really put the Bulls on his back tonight to will this team to a victory. But more so, I want to call out all the DeMar DeRozan comments from Game 1 and all the Bulls fans who were ripping him apart, saying, see, we knew this about DeRozan. We knew that he chokes in the playoffs. He's not the type of player that can win you games in the playoffs because he's a ball hog, he takes low percentage shots and cracks under the pressure of a playoff series. Well, let me remind you that without DeRozan this season, the Bulls probably don't even make the playoffs. So you can thank him for getting the Bulls back into the postseason to begin with. But secondly, and I said it in my postgame video after Game 1, yeah, like you guys, I was frustrated by DeRozan and his shot selection. I didn't like that he was trying to take over the game and not moving the ball around because the Bulls are a much better team when there is a high level of ball movement. But at the end of the day, he's the best player on this team. Yes, I said it. He's the best player on this team. He's the most experienced player on the team in terms of number of games in the regular season and playoffs. Tristan Thompson is the only player who has more playoffs games than DeMar, but Tristan at this point in his career is not going to obviously be as impactful as DeMar DeRozan is. So yeah, DeMar is going to be the go-to guy. He's going to be the guy putting up the most shot attempts. Like I said, I didn't like all of his shots, but he's been given the green light by the coaching staff in this series to take over. And in a winnable game from Game 1, you saw that. It was just unfortunate that he went 6 for 25, which is funny because he said in the post-game press conference, there was no way in hell I'm going to go 6 for 25 again. And damn right he did. Tonight, the guy was on fire. He did kind of struggle a little in the fourth quarter, which allowed the Bucks to get right back into the game, but finishing the game with 41 points on 16 for 31 shooting. Was perfect from the line, shooting 9 for 9. Again, another key about DeRozan is his ability to get to the foul line. The only other players who had free throw attempts in this game were LaVine with 4 and Kobe White with 2, which in and of itself is a little ridiculous. The Bulls only had 15 free throw attempts this whole game compared to the Bucks' 31. Thanks, refs, but we'll get to them later. DeMar, 41 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Only 2 turnovers. This was his game and the reason the Bulls won tonight. That being said, though, it wasn't just all DeRozan because there were a few unsung heroes who were critical tonight in this game for the Bulls. And that was really with Alex Caruso and Nikola Vucevic. And I want to start with Caruso because, as I'm sure most of you guys know by now, if you've been following the Bulls this season, it's what you see him do on the court versus what you see in the box score that makes him a standout and a key to the success for this Bulls team. Caruso was another guy who really struggled towards the end of the season after coming back from his wrist injury, and then he had an aching back. But that week off between the regular season and the playoffs really seemed to be just what the doctor ordered. And he said before the series, this is the closest I've been to 100% in a while. And tonight, Caruso, along with Vucevic, they were the X factors in this game. And I would even lean more towards Caruso being that much more impactful, because Caruso was the floor general tonight for the Bulls. He was running with the ball, making plays in transitions, finding open cutters to the basket, stuff you would see a guy like Lonzo Ball do. And not only that, but the dude was a pest on defense, really guarding everybody from Holiday to Matthews to Middleton. I even saw him on Giannis for a few possessions. Caruso finished the game with 9 points, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. But what's insane is that Caruso was plus 16 on the night in his 38 minutes of play. To put that into perspective, DeRozan, who put up 41 points, he was a plus 2. LaVine was a plus 4. That is a massive swing in terms of impact when Caruso is on the court. And it's such a sight to see to finally have him back and looking healthy. And also, it's just good to have his experience. Like, I know some were questioning why Caruso was getting the start over Ayo. Well, now you see why. I do wish Ayo was getting more minutes. Game 1 he had 9, tonight he had 7, but I get it. You have to go with your veterans, and really, Billy just went with his starters for most of this game anyway. Like, Javonte Green had the most points off of the bench with 14, followed by Kobe with 10. The starters played the bulk of this game. And then, of course, the other guy, Vucevic. And you guys know I have to rub this one in and toot my own horn, which I mainly do because I had a good amount of folks laugh at me for it. But I said before the series, Vucevic was going to be the Bulls' X factor in this one. So far in both games, he's been just that. Vucevic has played well in both games, and tonight, of course, he was even better because he actually hit his shots even from deep. Vucevic finished the game with 24 points on 10 for 18 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3 to go along with 13 rebounds. Like, here is the thing with Vucevic. When he's being aggressive in the paint, playing with confidence to post guys up, like he was even posting up Giannis and getting fadeaway jumpers on him. When he's playing like that, it presents another scoring threat for the Bulls. It forces teams to not be able to double up DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine. Like, you saw it when Vucevic got 5 fouls and Billy Donovan was forced to sit him for a few minutes in the fourth quarter, and they brought in Tristan Thompson. The Bucks feasted, and we're all over DeMar because Thompson isn't going to be a threat on offense. And it's why Billy had to bring him back so early into the game with about 5 minutes left to go, even though he had 5 fouls. Like, I feel Bulls fans just completely forgot that Vucevic is still one of the better big men in the league. Even though he had a pretty subpar season, he's still one of the better big men in the league. And when he's on, he presents to be another scoring threat. It gives the Bulls so many more opportunities on offense when defenses are forced to play man-to-man and not have to be able to double up DeMar or Zach. And then I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to Patrick Williams because he was solid tonight. Like, Billy keeps saying he wants to go with veterans in this series. Patrick isn't a veteran. He's 20 years old and this is his first playoff series, but he's been holding his own, playing with confidence, playing solid defense on Giannis, taking smart shots, and also being another guy who can help crash the boards. Tonight he had 9 rebounds to go along with 10 points, shooting 5 for 9. I would like to see Patrick be a little more aggressive on offense, but I also get it. Like, how many shot attempts are you really going to get with guys like LaVine, DeMar, and Vooch on the floor? And speaking of Zach, I mean, not as crazy of a stat line as DeMar DeRozan, but his shot selection was much better tonight. 20 points, 7 for 13 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3. He did have 4 turnovers, and one of those was actually at a pretty bad time in which the Bucks were making a run. But I was glad to see Zach be a little smarter with the basketball. Again, it's only his second playoff game in his career, and he showed up well. How about that, though? The Bulls 48% from 3 after 18% in Game 1, I think it was. Near 50% from the field, too. I mean, that was really the difference maker in Game 1, is the Bulls just couldn't hit their shots because they played Milwaukee very well on defense in Game 1. They just couldn't get it going on offense. 25 assists tonight, too. I will gladly take that. So, look, I know it's easy for us Bulls fans to get excited and think we're going to win this series now. This series is far from over, like I said. This is still the defending champions. They know that they have to take the Bulls seriously now. This loss probably woke them up a bit, and I expect they're going to be coming out laser-focused in Game 3. But as I said before, this is where the Bulls have to take advantage. The Bucks have so much more to lose in this series, and now the Bulls even have the upper hand with the series tied in the next 2 games at home. So we'll see how it pans out. Man, I know my baby is going to arrive when this series really starts to heat up. I just know it. That's how luck works. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy your evening, and I'll see you guys in Game 3. Make sure you're subscribed as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.